brother. Rusty. Oh, there you go. You didn't go for a swim? Your brother went for a swim? Why don't you go for a swim? Go for a swim. I think after we're done mowing here, I'm going to take down this cluster of trees and these bushes right here. Little patch of bushes there. There's another patch up there, bushes. I take all that stuff down and then be able to see right down to there, and it'll make it way easier for mowing. As you can tell, this stuff is pretty tough to mow with, especially with that little 21-inch mower. But the ground is really drops down in sections here and kind of rolls, and each layer is just really boggy and wet. So you can see the ATV's got it torn all up here, so it all got to be resurfaced. Need to bring in more material and put it down and fill those holes in and get some grass back over top of it, so that way then the ground is smoother and it'll be easier for mowing. I think the ideal thing for that then would be have one of those big ride-on mowers, something like that. This is a brand new mower I bought. It's, like I said, it's only a 21-inch, so it doesn't do a very big area per pass, but it's it gets through it. I mean, it does the job, but I think long term we'd need one of those ride-ons for sure. The ride-on to have right here right now, I think, might be kind of difficult to use in a lot of these areas because of, all the ruts and everything that's in the property, because it just drop into the ruts and then it would get stuck, right? So once we get all that fixed and get the ground somewhat level down through here, I shouldn't say level, but at least sloped so that it's not, having a bunch of dips and stuff in it. So then we'll be able to use a ride-on mower, I think, a lot better here. This upper area and behind here, we can only go back so far and then it turns into bog. So this area would be fine for a ride-on. There used to be old garden beds and stuff back here that my grandparents had. And those are, they're beds, so they're humpy, but they're not as bad as what's down here and nowhere near as wet up there. So well, we got this section here done now. We started today, so you can see we cleared all this section all the way down through here. Yeah, so we've mowed this whole side of the property over here all the way across. There's a patch in the center here, and it's a fairly decent sized patch, but it's very, very difficult to mow. The first time I mowed that, I had to do it all with the weed whacker because the weeds are so dense in there, and the type of weed that's in there, they grow in these packs. This type of weed that's there, and they're really, really dense packs. So when you go over them with a lawnmower, the lawnmower just dies instantly, right? Just shuts off instantly. So I went through that with the weed whacker the first time I done it, and it was a fight to get through that. And it's a bunch of, you know, humps and bumps and everything because of that particular type of weed that's there that grows in clusters. So it's a lot of humps and stuff. So I think what I'll end up doing with this section down here is I'll bring in the excavator and then I'll scrape the top of that and pull all those weeds out of it, get rid of all that, and then resurface it with more soil, and then put down grass seed down there too as well. So yeah, that's the plan for that. But right now we're gonna get into, we need to mow a tiny bit more over here, and then we're gonna go up into the upper meadow here and start mowing up there.